Hello, and welcome to Self-Care is Sexy. My name is Chris, and I'll be your host. We're a podcast that's here to generate and share self-care ideas with each other. On our last episode, I shared with you on how to create a self-care re-entry plan as things are opening back up from the COVID-19 pandemic. And even though everyone seems to be vaccinated and things are just really starting to get back to whatever kind of normal they're going to be, we still need to take that time and honor what's best for ourselves before just diving right back in. If you missed that show, make sure you check it out on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, or anywhere you get your podcasts from. I want to give you a quick preview of what to expect from today's show. So today's show, I'm going to go over some tips on how you can take a break from anything, whether it's on the job, a relationship, or even a toxic habit that you're trying to get in check. We're going to go through some easy tips on how to take a break and how to engage with activity on our own time that honors self-care. But first, a few quick housekeeping notes. First off today, I really want to send a very special shout out and thank you to one of our listeners, Melissa. She's a special rocker chick bartender friend of mine who is just such a big time supporter of the show. And I wanted to personally on air thank you so much for hyping me and for helping motivate me to get back on the podcast airwaves. I love you and thank you so much for all of your support. Next up, if you're looking for a new self-care skin routine, please make sure to check out Mad Hippie. They have an extensive line of incredible products that are all natural, all amazing, and all local to Portland. Make sure you check them out at madhippie.com. And last but not least, if you are looking for some new hot girl summer self-care tips, make sure you check out our upcoming episode number 150. It's coming up in June, and it's going to be a product review episode for ideas and just products that are really going to make self-care the thing to do this summer. So make sure you check it out. It's coming up the second week of June. Okay, so for today's show, we're going to be talking about taking a break, whether it's taking a 15-minute break at work or needing to take a break from a relationship, or maybe it's taking a giant break from all the old shitty self-talk you've been engaging in or the negative self-image you have. Either way, we've got some really great tips for you. And I encourage everyone to take a break. Take a nap. Stop working. Let the laundry pile up. Tell someone that you need some space from them. These acts are all extremely empowering examples of self-care. So let's start off by looking at the subtle signs that it's time to take a break. And then we're going to go through the ways that you can honor your limits if you're new to that. So if you're in much need of a break and you're feeling overwhelmed right now, I've got really great encouragement for you today because believe me, it can wait. Whatever it is, if there's laundry, it can wait. If you have a million things that you think you should be doing right now, let it wait. Nothing is more important than your mental health and your self-care. So before we get started with the signs that you need to take a break, I just want to check in because it's been over a month since our last episode, and we might need a reminder that if you haven't done anything for self-care this week, I want you to shut the fucking podcast off right now and use the next 30 minutes to do something that you consider self-care. And if you don't know what that would be, like if you have no idea at all what self-care is for you right now, I want you to take this time and make a list of some of the things that you could do for self-care. Now, this list, I want it to make sure that it's realistic. It's something that you're actually going to do, something you will follow through with. Because the mission of this show is to remind you to do self-care. And we want to share these ideas and talk about it, but the most important thing you can do is actual self-care. So before you dive into this new episode and get all jazzed on some new self-care ideas and tips, make sure that you're attending to the basics first. All right, so let's start by talking about the signs that you need a break. It might not be that obvious to you. So number one, if you find that right now you're really impatient with everything, or, completely annoyed by everything, irritated at every little inconvenience. You get an email at work and you're just seethingly mad. Somebody says something inconsequential and it just sends you over the edge. That is a good signal that it's time to take a break. And this applies to any kind of situation that you may need a break from. It's really important to recognize that little breaks throughout the day are super important for your daily mental health, but that taking breaks from bigger things is a huge help to your overall self-care and well-being. Number 2, if you find that you can't focus, you can't get your head into anything, you're picking up your phone a million times, you're wanting to find something else to be done, you want to add to your to-do list, your schedule is off, you have no routine. These are signs that it's time to take a break from creating a new process. Now, I know that sounds difficult and quite contradictory, that you need to take a break from trying to improve yourself, but that's exactly what you need to do. Sometimes, and especially right about now, a lot of people are starting to focus on all the things they haven't accomplished. We're halfway through the year already, and we're starting to get that itch, right? There's a lot of things going on right now where there's a lot of pressure to get it all done. And if you find that you can't seem to focus on anything, it might mean that you're focused on too many things. So let's just pick one and focus on that and follow through. And if that means, like me, you have to take a break from your passion project, you have to take a break from your chores, you have to take a break from your social or your friends, whatever it is, you've got to start looking at the things that are vying for your time. Number 3, if you can't tell that you need a break, one of the biggest signs that you need a break is you're unable to cultivate gratitude. You're speaking negatively about everything that's going on around you right now. And if you cannot find that feeling, if you can't turn it on, even just a little bit, it's time to take a break. Because not being able to find anything to be grateful for means that you're disconnected. You're unplugged from that loving source, and you need to find your way back. But don't worry, I got some ways to get back, so just hang in there with me. Number 4, if you're feeling stuck in any way, if you feel like you're on a merry-go-round and you're repeating the same mistake, the same bad choices, the same situations, but maybe just switching out the people, but you're doing it over and over and over again, and you're not getting where you want to go, you're not getting your results, it might be time to just take a break. Take a break from trying to do new things, trying to improve upon yourself. If you're feeling really stuck with where you're at, starting something new is not the answer. If you're feeling really like you have no options, adding more to your plate is not the answer. And lastly, the biggest indication that you need to take a break is when any little mistake you make, you respond to yourself like a total asshole. And this goes back to like our self-awareness and how we speak and think about ourselves. And this is key. This is the most important thing you can take away from today's show. And it's time to evaluate. Do you degrade yourself for every inadequacy? Are you punishing yourself or restricting yourself for even the smallest mistakes? Are you talking internally to yourself like a total asshole, thinking that somehow that's going to motivate you? And are you beating yourself up for something that is completely out of your control? All of those things are signs that you need to take a break. You need to get away from what it is that's right in front of you. I want to run through that really quick again. Some signs that you need to take a break is you're impatient with everything. You can't focus. You can't generate gratitude. You feel stuck. You're responding to yourself like an asshole all the time. These are key things that are going to cue to you like, hey, something's not right. Something's off. Now, that doesn't mean that life is supposed to always be sunshine, daisies, and rainbows. I get it, right? We are going to have inconveniences. We're going to feel not focused at times. But if these are loud and constant and creating havoc for you, those are signs that you need to stop whatever you're doing and reassess and maybe rework your schedule, try to fit in some self-care, do whatever it is you need to do. And sometimes that means letting things fall apart. So I want to talk about this because this is extremely important. If you don't know how to take a break and you're really stuck and you're like, Chris, you don't understand. I have all these responsibilities. I have all these things that I can't let stuff fall apart. I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to get to the place where you decide that you are more important than your to-do list. That you are going to love you no matter how productive you are today, no matter how many things you get done. And even though there's that hit of dopamine every time you check something off your to-do list, there's also a bigger, more helpful process that happens when you just let shit fall apart. Because when you give yourself that permission, when you really allow yourself to just let go of the control over all these things, you're going to free up the space to really take care of yourself. And in that, what's going to happen, if you're telling me like, hey, Chris, I don't know how to take a break. I have too much going on. One of the first things that you'll need to do to get a break is you're going to have to deal with the guilt. You're going to have to address what's happening inside, that when you say, I need a break, I need to step away, you're going to have to deal with that voice inside your head that's like, oh God, I got to get back to it, but I'm missing this deadline, I'm not getting this done. Allowing for things to fall apart and dealing with that guilt is going to free up so much space in your head that you're going to be able to come back at it even stronger. And sometimes that means literally being able to simply walk away. That could mean get up from your computer and go away. Get out of the house, get out of the office. Get away from the person that is bringing you down, that's sucking out your energy. Take time away from that project, that sporting event, that thing that you do all the time that suddenly seems like this albatross that you cannot lug around anymore. You're going to have to make a decision. It's going to have to be you or all the things you think you have to get done. And right now, there's not a lot of mental energy left for adding more to your plate. So you're just going to have to get okay with walking away from something that no longer serves you. And how do you know what that thing is? How do you know which plate to let drop on the floor? Well, honestly, it does not matter. If your mental health and your self-care have been in the toilet, let them all fall and figure you out first. And taking a break might be as simple as just changing your environment. Get in the car, drive until you can't drive anymore, find a roadside hotel, stay for the night, call it good. Get away from other people, get alone, get quiet, and really start checking in with you. The biggest indication that you need a break from everything is that you can't deal with the things that are coming at you. When you are engaged in self-care, when you are really putting you at the front of the priority list, then when things come up, they don't feel as overwhelming. You have a grounded sense of self and can, take on anything that comes at you. Any weird circumstance or change in events, you can easily take on because you've filled yourself up first. You put the oxygen mask on you first. You took care of you first, so everything else that came after was easily manageable. And if you're not in that place, maybe getting up and getting out of your environment is just the thing you need to do to take a break. And last but not least, if you're not sure how to take a break, how to actually get away from the things that are really bringing you down, if you can't actually change your environment, you can't walk away, you can't do these things, it's time to